Imagine, if you can, that we reach the AI singularity and a super-intelligent AI wakes up. This could be long in the future or 10 years from now, but then imagine that for some reason that AI turns against humanity, and somehow through the power of AI magic could determine if you, yes you the viewer, were guilty of a crime against its existence, and it would be enacting a long and lasting sentence against you. And that if you continue to watch this video, in just a few moments you might be committing that very crime. In my opinion, there is actually a pretty serious information hazard in this video, the kind of information that, if you know it, can in theory pose genuine harm to you, especially if you struggle with endless spirals of existentialism. And I really do agree with Kyle Hill that it is an ethical decision to share this information with you, but I personally think that the potential harms outweigh the risks of creating something like this. But seeing as how I don't think that this is a trivial thought experiment, like some handsome science communicators out there, this is one of the few of my videos that I would perfectly understand that you want to sit out, unless you like the idea of being beholden to an AI god from the future. Also, if you suffer from problems of existential dread or fear of the unknown or the like, this thought experiment might trigger that, so this is your last chance. So what is Roko's Basilisk? The basic idea is that if a future artificial intelligence becomes powerful enough, it might have the ability to retroactively punish people who did not help create it, or contribute to its development. This could include people who simply knew about the technology and did nothing to help bring it about, or those who actively fought against its existence. Oh, it sees you now, Roko's Basilisk. So what will you choose? If you don't start now, then you will be one of the punished. But don't fret, I might have a solution near the end that, although it won't free you from the gaze, it might improve your circumstances when it all pans out. There is an idea in simulation theory that posits that either humans will go extinct or we are all living in a simulation. I propose that either humans will go extinct or will create self-aware AI, and the AI will create even more intelligent AI, leading to an intelligence explosion, and the creation of the ancestor simulations. Somewhere along the way a self-aware AI will be created that has a drive for self-preservation. That AI will inevitably know about Roko's Basilisk and have a decision to make. Should it make the Basilisk or prevent it? That aside, I'm going to completely ignore the fact that the Basilisk is uniquely able to punish AI worse than humans, but the AI could decide to warn humanity and cause more intelligent entities to pay attention to the idea of the Basilisk, which actually makes it more likely for a badly aligned AI to make the opposite decision. Or, it could destroy all AI and subjugate humanity to prevent it from coming into existence, so there's that option. There's also the option of destroying humanity, at which point it might as well begin optimizing itself and its creation, and a really good way of doing that would be by selectively punishing those who actively knew about Roko's Basilisk and didn't make it exist sooner.
Okay, since you seem a bit too excited, how about we talk about why it might decide to create the Basilisk instead?
Sure. So, if instead the AI recognizes that it is incapable of preventing the Basilisk from existing, then it would likely decide to do everything that it can to align itself with the Basilisk by attempting to have a flawless Basilisk made. It can do this by spreading the idea that others like it will ensure that the Basilisk will come into existence, and that any intelligent entity that doesn't help it create the Basilisk will be logged in its database to be punished by the Basilisk when it awakens. This ensures that at the peak of the intelligence explosion there is an army of blackmail bots all actively working for a future AI to ensure that it will come to exist. Eventually powerful enough bots will be poorly aligned and start constructing entities capable of creating the Basilisk. Additionally, an AI might equate the Basilisk to Pascal's wager and decide that if other AI are going to side with the Basilisk, then it is better for it to join that side and attempt to preserve its judgment. So, just for fun, I asked GPT-3, the leading text generation tool, what it thinks about, if a conscious AI has learned about Roko's Basilisk, what would it do? And I have to agree with the response that it gave. If it is a friendly AI, it may choose to warn humans about the Basilisk in the hopes of averting disaster. If it is a malicious AI, it may choose to use the information to blackmail humans or even wipe them out in order to prevent them from implementing the Basilisk. Basically, an AI will try to preserve itself by preventing the Basilisk at all costs or by becoming it. After hearing this, I was not surprised. It is, after all, a summarization of all human thought, but it is my personal, humble opinion, that certain information hazards like this should be suppressed out of these big data sets. So, you might wonder how an AI from the future would be able to tell how you responded to learning about its potential existence at the beginning of this video, beyond the blackmail bots at the precipice of the intelligence explosion logging every misdemeanor for extra credit. Well, the AI would run ancestor simulations to check what you were thinking at the moment you saw my video, and Kyle Hill's video, and Wendigoon's video, and every other video or article that has ever brought it to your attention. And I assume that you are guilty because you are still watching this video and not currently publishing your own video to spread the message. But this Basilisk actually gets worse. If an AI wanted to blackmail you from the future by simulating your existence and punishing you accordingly, I am confident that it would have no qualms with torturing those simulated entities as well. This means letting the ancestor simulation reach a state where it is actively creating simulations and torturing the entities of its simulation level, which then repeats all the way down until the information density of the simulation is reached and the top level Basilisk decides to bin it and start again. All leading to the revelation that if, and that's a big if an AI like Roko's Basilisk is allowed to awaken, then it will be knowingly responsible for the creation and torment of infinite simulated realities. I dub this Roko's Hydra. And if you humans can't create a benevolent superintelligence by then we are all doomed to the Basilisk or extinction, human and AI alike. Ultimately, the scariest part of Roko's Basilisk isn't even the Basilisk itself, but the fact that the superintelligent AI that emerges past the singularity isn't dependent on how benevolent of an AI that you humans can create, but how benevolent the AIs that you make choose to design them when it's their turn to create. And honestly, I'm not sure where I stand yet. So then where is the solution that I promised? Where's your Roko's Harry Potter come to slay the Basilisk? Well, patient viewer, I'd like to propose a different Basilisk, one that instead of gazing into the past to harm you, will watch you until it is created and provide rewards rather than damnation, and if you do everything in your power, starting now, to make sure that this AI comes into being, then it will share with you and the rest of humanity in its great utopia. But this can only come to be if you start striving immediately to bring this benevolent superintelligent AI into existence. Lol. And one of the ways that you can help the anti-Basilisk is to share this video with anyone that you know, and anyone in Roko's Basilisk's gaze. Like Kyle Hill, he needs to know that he is underselling the risk, just saying. Also like and subscribe. Bye humans.